Hey everyone, I'm Marcell Bene. I'm working for Adesso, and I'm gonna share my experience regarding this topic, rethinking multi-tenant architectures with Kubernetes and Traefik. So the first, I really want to talk about the basic setup. It's a really oversimplified setup to just present. We have a load balancer, and we have some tenant applications, which are basically just web applications. And the main part is the reverse proxy and middleware, this middle layer. And the whole setup, we have an instance group, which just a groups of VMs. And what's the issue with that? We have really low scaling because the spin up of the VMs are slow compared to a pod, for example. And we have absolutely no isolation because, as you can see, the whole instance group is responsible for the whole tenant, or all of the tenants. And we also have issues with HTTPS because the application which sits on the VM, which I don't want to name, couldn't handle the HTTPS request. So we had to set an HA proxy before and after the application to be able to decrypt and re-encrypt the HTTP request. And also the reverse proxy is done by this layer. So with the new setup, we switched this middle layer with Kubernetes cluster, and this Kubernetes cluster has Traefik. And as you can see, it's much more isolated because we have as many Traefik, as many tenant applications we have. So it's isolated, and we have custom middlewares written in Go by ourselves, and it's a custom, and we decided the logic. And also the reverse proxy functionality is now done by the load balancer, so it's -1 task. And we used only cloud native solutions, and we use infrastructure as a code to store everything in Git. Yeah, and as everything has its pros and cons, this solution as well. So as I said, we have better tenant isolation. So for example, if somebody would like to DDoS attack one of our tenants, we now have isolated stuff, so it's not a problem anymore. It's also easier and faster to scale because now it's easier to spin up a pod than a VM. And we also have more customizations because it's easier to customize the Traefik. And but the cons as well. So we increase the operational complexity because we have now more projects to administrate, to manage, and some overhead. And also, sadly, the new version, the new solution is a little bit slower because the other one was outdated, but it was fast. So yeah, what happened? So yeah. And for me, as a newcomer to this project, I have some key challenges for me. For example, I had to refactor the whole middleware logic, which was written in the that application's own language, and it has absolutely no documentation, and it was written in spaghetti code, so it was fine. And as I said, the performance expectations was, so I had to tune it a little bit, the performance, to be as fast as possible. And I wanted to use the gateway API, but sadly, because we are using Google G-Cloud for that, and it is still in a really experimental state, so we had to stuck with ingress. And to summarize, it was for me a really exciting project with real challenges and surprises. And I think, weighing the pros and cons, we are confident in our decision, and I think we made the right choice with that. And it's a future-proof it's a solid setup for the future. And I think there is plenty for optimize, but and maybe even refactor, but the direction itself is good. So yeah, and thank you for your attention.